Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Boomer Terry.
And we're coming at you from the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. And we asked you kindly to do what, Rob?
Click the like button, subscribe, follow, and whatever else you got to do.
And listen to us that way. Subscriptions just help our numbers, and that's all we ask, is that our numbers get helped. We're not paid for doing this. We're sponsored by absolutely no one. So, and everybody already knows this, but we have to put our disclaimer out.
We are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. So, anybody out there interested? Big stuff going on. First off, Rob.
Yeah.
Big topic of the day.
Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer. Do you care?
No.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Do we want to talk about it?
I don't care.
I don't want to talk about it.
Nah. Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Move on.
Well, all right. Let's touch on it.
Okay.
Because the first name that comes up is Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops.
I don't think he's going.
No. Well, they've already hired their coach.
Oh, they have?
Yeah. They named the guy. The staff is staying in place. They pulled Bob Stoops' retirement on.
Oh, okay.
Put
I did not know that.
Some Yahoo on it. But I listened to a conversation on the way home on the radio. What's he going to be remembered for? You know, all the scandals and stuff will eventually go away. But is it Ohio State or is it Florida?
Oh, I don't know.
Most
Maybe
legendary
wife beater shirts.
Most legendary coaches are associated with the university. Bud Wilkinson, Oklahoma. Barry Switzer, Oklahoma. Joe Paterno, Penn State. Tom Osborne.
I don't know that
Fred Akers.
He may have tarnished his legacy.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see, Caleb's here, but he might step in here, he said. But, there's supposed to be this 30 for 30 come out about the Florida Gators during that time and the Hernandez stuff and the players. And from what Caleb has said last night over dinner was what it sounds like is that
Urban Meyer covered a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he covered a whole bunch of stuff up, and it was easy to cover up because of the focus on Tim Tebow.
Right.
Being the good guy and everything else, but apparently the rest of that team was bad news.
Yep.
So, but
if that comes out, it's just going to hurt his legacy even more. He's not going to go down like a Bob Stoops or a Tom Osborne or somebody like that, I don't think. Which is a shame for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a lot of – it was just weird the way he retired from Florida. Got out of coaching, health, and this, and then, 3 years later, he goes, to Ohio State. And,
well, somebody said he's leader of the let's go get a new coach at USC charge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. But anyway, I mean, I could care less. I think the stuff with him this year, kind of tells you his what's the word I'm looking for? Heart, or tells you morals. It tells you how he, the type of person he is. Yeah. I mean, if somebody, working for you, its wife called your wife and said, my husband just beat me up, and so on and so forth, would you not?
You have to.
You have to.
As a man.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So, but good riddance. We don't have to hear about Urban for a while. He'll probably jump on. Well, I don't know if he'll be on TV because he kind of burnt some of those bridges with his attitude with the media recently. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it depends on this 30 for 30. If it comes out and it's bad for him, I expect if you lived in Ohio, he probably has still a nice legacy for you. Maybe some of those Florida people, because he did bring them championships.
Yeah.
But I think nationwide, he probably has ruined that, don't you think?
Yeah. Yep. But let's move on to more interesting stuff.
Okay.
The 3 finalists were named today. From Oklahoma, Alabama, and Georgia. You know what I'm talking about?
The Heisman.
No. The Joe Moore Award.
Oh.
Do you know what the Joe Moore Award is?
The top O-line in the country?
The top O-line in the country. Do you know why? Not only do I want our offensive line to win this, do you know why? The main reason why? No. It is the greatest ever.
Oh, yeah. It looks it's a lineman.
Yeah, it's an offensive line.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's the largest trophy. Okay. The actual trophy stands 6 feet tall and weighs more than 800 pounds. The perpetual trophy is made available for display by the winning university until conclusion of the following college football. So they put this massive 6 foot tall, 800 pound statue at your school. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I like it.
But our offensive line, obviously coached and led by Bill Bedenbaugh, of our redshirt junior left tackle Bobby Evans, senior left guard and Outland Trophy semifinalist Ben Powers, redshirt freshman center Creed Humphrey, senior right guard Drew Samia, redshirt junior right tackle Cody Ford, and redshirt senior Jonathan Alvarez, who started 2 games at center and 1 game at left guard. And the other 2 finalists are Alabama and Georgia. Okay. Obviously, we're biased because it's Oklahoma.
Well, yeah.
But
we can't help but to be biased.
Yeah. That's why we named the podcast Sooner Football
We're fans. Yeah, absolutely.
Podcast.
But if they watch the Texas game, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, just the press release I read today, and going through, I read all 3 schools' stuff about it. The Oklahoma Sooners are averaging 8.7 yards per snap this year, a mark that would top the record of 8.6 by Hawaii in 2006. The next highest average this season is 7.9, which is Alabama. And the third is Clemson, 7.4. So, we're averaging 8.7 yards per play.
And I bet offense. We have one of the lowest sack ratios as well.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma leads the country in points per game and yards per contest. 5 times already this season, the Sooners have recorded at least 300 yards rushing and at least 300 yards passing. The Sooners have allowed just 1.23 sacks per game. The leader allowed 1.17 sacks per game. OU also leads the nation with 11.6 yards per pass attempt, second in rushing yards of 6.7. No FBS team since 1994 has finished in the top 2 nationally in both categories in the same year.
It's good stuff.
The Sooners are also the only team this season with at least 40 rushing touchdowns and at least 40 passing touchdowns. So, anybody who watches or knows about football, even if you don't know about football, you know that your line, nobody else can do anything without your line.
Oh, yeah, it's vital.
Yeah.
Absolutely vital to the team.
And all accolades going to Kyler Murray, as they should. He's a great athlete, but Kyler Murray doesn't do anything
without those 5 guys
without these 5 guys up front.
That's right.
This offense is as strong and potent and dangerous as it is because of this offensive line.
And, to the point where everybody today has all day on Twitter have been posting how the O-line took care of Brooklyn Hager.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they dealt him.
Do you think that they singled him out?
I think they probably did.
You think there was
talking trash, they're going to try and see if you can back it up.
We were talking about this before we started the podcast, is want to go back now and rewatch the whole game.
I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing and just watch what they do to him.
Yeah, just watch number 44 and see what happens to him on every play. You know, and you knew he had to know it was coming. You know, I mean,
he just thought his britches were a little bigger than they were.
Well, that he knew it was coming on Twitter. Why? And the word I heard, I saw a couple posts when he hurt his hand. Apparently, after the game, not apparently, he did hurt his hand. Nobody knows how, but I read in two different places that his mom is the person who deleted his Twitter account. I don't know if that's true or not. It may be, but if he deleted it or whatever went on, they probably knew the Oklahoma fans are going to be watching, you know, this game. And you know how, you know, there's people out there who are great with getting highlights like they have been the last 2 days and putting them out there of him just getting drilled.
Just getting smoked. Just getting absolutely handled.
Yeah.
By, I mean, all of them.
All of them. He was trapped several times.
Oh, man.
Man, there was I saw two where he was trapped, and it looked like a tackle. I mean, and it wasn't a tackle. He just got hit so hard.
Just got knocked down.
Drove him to his back.
I bet he was sore after that.
Oh,
game.
you know. And then, you know, you always know, you know, the next day you got film. Okay. And, you know, he's got his little Pippi Longstocking ponytails in his hat, and he's always running in the mouth. What do you think he did in film session on Sunday?
He probably shut up because he got dealt. He got dealt with.
You know, I mean, I guarantee you, he went and sat in the darkest corner of that film room and put his head down and was just embarrassing.
I'm sure.
I mean,
yeah.
And yeah, you know, they pointed out everything, all the stuff coming out. Y'all all seen it on Twitter and on Facebook, all the videos of him getting drilled. But, you know, that's just because the fans have singled out Breckenhager because
he's running his mouth.
He's running his mouth. But if you've really watched this offensive line, they did that to a lot of people this year.
Yeah. But I think he got an extra little dose of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was double teamed some, but for the most part, Ben Powers handled him all day. I mean, one tackle.
Yeah. One tackle.
You know, he may have just got lucky to get that. Who knows?
But you know, it is what the rivalry is, and it's fine. You want to run your mouth, okay? But you know what? You better carry a stick big enough to back your mouth up, and obviously, his stick was broke.
Yeah, because some of those times, did you see they knocked him down and then they just dove
on him?
Let's see, 330 pounds jumping dead on you.
Yeah,
that didn't feel good.
That can't feel good. And it looks like he, you know, punched his hand through a window or a mirror or something. It looks like it went through the gashes on it. It looks like it went through either a window or a wall. Now, I'm just wondering who's going to pay that bill to Jerry's World for whatever big hunk of glass or oak wall he punched his hand through.
Who knows what he did to Big Sissy?
Because, I mean, there's a lot of expensive stuff. You and I have been down below back in that, you know, locker room area. You know, some of it's just a warehouse looking thing, but there's other parts of it that are, you know, those
the club area is pretty nice.
Yeah, so he throw his hand through something expensive. He may be working for Jerry, you know, working it off during the Christmas break. But now this offensive line, if they don't win this, and Joe Moore, you know, I did research and looked up the website. Go out there and check it out, guys. He was Joe Moore was widely regarded as one of the best offensive line coaches in college football history, most notably for his work at Notre Dame and the University of Pittsburgh. He sent 52 players to the NFL from college. That's a lot of offensive linemen.
Yeah, it is.
But
I can't wait to get that statue in the Barry Switzer Center.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have to give it its own wing. I mean, it looks like the players all get a miniature, and I'm sure the school eventually does too. But for 1 year, you get that for that year. You get that massive
get the traveler
statue, displayed. And maybe it's one that they put outside. I don't know. I mean,
maybe. It ain't like we don't have plenty of room.
Yeah. But what they've done this year offensively, which, everybody, and rightfully so, last year everybody talked about this may be the best offense in college football history, most efficient offense in college football history. And in less than 12 months, it's being surpassed.
Right.
And something that and rightfully so, Baker Mayfield was a great college quarterback, maybe one of the greatest of all time. Maybe, but these two fellas, actually, Tua and Kyler, both are right up there with the numbers.
Yeah.
And both are going to break his single-season efficiency rating.
Well, I mean, for him to break the records to start with, prove that he was one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
For these guys to both be doing it, it's a pretty special season.
Yeah, it's crazy. But this offense, we talked about it before the season. I wasn't worried about this offense. I'm not worried about this offense next year. I'm not worried about this offense the next 3. Lincoln Riley knows how to coach offense.
Yeah.
He knows how to put players in the right spots to where they will benefit the team and highlight each other. That's his forte. People, Austin Kendall, this offense wouldn't do nearly what it did this year. I don't know.
You can't say that.
You can't. A lot of it is coaching. I mean, if you put the right guys in the right scheme and the right game plan together, it's nuts what Lincoln does with it.
But we also recognize that Kyler is special.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I mean, we've talked about it before, watching, us fans watching and looking at it. If you go back and look at a lot of these big plays, the way that play is designed to draw attention elsewhere, to where you now see, and people talk about it all the time. You see it now this year happening in the NFL, and it's Lincoln Riley's plays that these guys are running in the NFL, a lot of them.
Right.
And some of it's not misdirection, it's ghost, for the best way I can put it.
Well, it's an understanding, I think, Terry, of what the defense is going to do given a certain situation.
Right.
And then playing off of that.
Right. If I move this guy over here and they're in cover 2 or they're in zone, well, they're going to hover to here, and then this guy's going to step out.
The safety's going to come, or the safety's going to drop. And
they're not going to account for this guy because they're thinking of this,
right,
and we're doing this.
That's absolutely right.
And folks, go watch any. If you watch when we have some of those big breakout plays, those long, deep, and even some of the short ones, where our guys just all of a sudden wide open. If you watch it in slow motion or when you watch the playback on it, just see what happens underneath there. It's like choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln choreographs his offense to draw this defense to do what he wants it to do, and then all of a sudden, boop, out pops a guy wide open.
So you got to wonder, how much time does it take Lincoln because he's got to be watching video of that, whoever we're playing, their defense, to see what they're going to do in any given situation.
Right.
So, I mean, he's got to be spending an ample amount of time in the video. And
watch it.
Film
it may not be, he may just be a football savant.
And he is.
I think to some extent, anybody that can do what he does with Teddy Lehman at the coaches show, I mean, I can't remember what I had for, lunch yesterday, to be able to go back 4 years and remember a third down play against a particular team. I don't care what hash mark you're on.
Especially a play that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was just a play.
Just a play.
I mean, it might have been a first down or whatever, but still.
I think a lot of his forte is he's able to watch and adjust. And he's done it for so long. I think it may not be being spent a lot of time in the film room. Not that he doesn't. I'm sure he does. But it's probably that he has spent so much time in the film room that when he sees it, he automatically knows it. You know what I mean? He's watching film of Alabama going, oh, okay, they're now in normal situations, everybody's going to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, yeah, they do that. So, but this is going to work. It's like Patterson said, you know, when they were getting ready to play in the Big 12 championship game, they ran
same play, 9 different sets. 10 different sets.
10 different variations of the same dive play.
Mm-hmm.
They ran it differently every time, but it was the same play.
Yeah, because the defense ultimately is trying to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, they're set up in this package, so we're going to run this defensive set to try and
right.
You know, cover what we've seen in video.
Right.
So,
but what that's telling you from Patterson is he probably in the 2 times they played it probably ran that play that 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time they ran it was successful. The next time Patterson adjusted to it, and immediately Lincoln adjusted to it to his. It wasn't like, oh, where they tried it 3 or 4 more times the same way and it didn't work. Okay, we got to do something different. It was immediate. We're changing it. Okay, you know, 32 belly option. You know, on one it went to 32 belly option B. You know,
who knows?
And the fact that he has taught these kids all those different variations and that they comprehend it is what gets me. I mean, that they soak it in, all of them. Because I don't understand how you and I remember when our kids were in middle school and 8th grade, and they were doing hand signals, calling the plays in hand signals. I was like, how I couldn't do that.
No, you could. It's a basic understanding of an offensive set, and then you just run the variation, which they can easily understand based on that set. So, I mean, yeah, it sounds difficult, but once you get in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then again, I come from, you know, I played center, and the center was the captain of the offensive line, and you called the blocking schemes, and it all worked out. But back in my day, the defense you're playing may only have like 5 variations of a particular defensive set. So you went, oh, they're in the 2 gap. You know, it's a hit block. It's a lance block. It's a, you know, whatever our calls were. And
ours were more basic than that. We were hole blocking the whole time. Step to the hole, block out, right?
Ours were fairly simple, but I mean, if they came in and they were in the gaps and we were running a particular play, I had to let the guard know, hey, you need to take the guy in the gap because I got to go get the linebacker on the backside.
Second level.
Or I would tell him if I didn't want to go get the linebacker on this, if I'd been trying that and was too slow, or whatever the case may be, hey, I was like, hey, you know, I can't remember what the calls were, but you'd change the call. And if I didn't make a call, we just went with base blocking,
mm-hmm.
you know, but it was my decision on where to go to. But there were only like 3 or 4 different variations on every play.
Right.
But these guys, 9 different variations of the same, you know, basic dive play is ridiculous. But I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, the Joe Moore Award. You know, I think it'd be a crime if this offensive line.
Yeah.
Because the committee is supposed to be made up. Well, I'm not going to say supposed to. It's made up of 13 former linemen, coaches, talent evaluators, and media and analysts. This group conducts in-depth analysis by reviewing game tape every week of the season to assess both the fundamentals and subtleties of overall offensive line performance. Okay, if they do this, Oklahoma, this is a shoe-in for Oklahoma.
And not only do we win this one, but we got several more awards that we could just run off with all the awards this year. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yep. And speaking of which, last night the Heisman finalists were announced.
Were you happy? Sad? What?
Oh, I mean, it was expected. Of course, we got Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting our old buddy from
West Virginia.
But Haskins has some good numbers. And then Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa, what are we calling him now?
I don't know. Tagovailoa, whatever. Tagovailoa, something like that.
Here's what gets me, and I put out 2 polls for us today on the Twitter and on the Facebook. Oklahoma fans, I believe, are convinced that Kyler is going to win the trophy after this weekend. After this past weekend.
I don't know. I'm very skeptical, and the reason I am is there's certain things that are working against him that we don't know how the committee's going to take into consideration.
Yeah, the voters.
The voters. He's got $5 million in his pocket because he's a pro athlete already.
Yeah.
I think that hurts him. The second thing is, last year they gave it to Baker Mayfield from the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to want to do that again.
I don't know.
Not back to back, anyway.
I don't know. I mean, well, first let's get to our polls. Okay, the Twitter poll, which was that we know the Sooner fans know that Kyler Murray has earned and deserves a 2018 Heisman Trophy, but we know that always doesn't mean anything. Does Kyler bring home the trophy this Saturday? We had 200 voters, and 94% said yes.
Well, yeah, they're Sooner fans.
Well, no, because
come on,
I'm saying there are some people that will looking on Twitter or have been saying like we have, he's not going to win it because they're going to give it to Tua. Okay, and the same basically happened, and that's why I wanted to put it out there. We had 1,300 votes on, 1,200 votes on Facebook, and 95% said he's going to win it. Now, the reason why is because the talk has all been, Tua. And here's one of the things that I was looking at today, okay, and that people were saying, well, people out there have said, well, Tua has played on against tougher defenses, okay?
Please.
Plays in, okay, exactly, okay? It is true, okay, but not drastically better defenses. Alabama's the average Alabama opponent this year ranked 59th in defensive S&P. The OU average was 71. Okay, those Bama figures do not include the Citadel.
Why not?
Because it's an FCS team.
I don't care.
Okay, so let's cut out OU's worst opponent, which was UCLA at 103.
Really?
The average number goes up to 69. So there's a 10-point difference. And you and I know when you're dealing in these percentages like this, these points, even your offensive and defensive rankings, it's millimeters of millards that make a difference. Mm-hmm. So Oklahoma's average defensive S&P was 69, and Tua's was 59th. Alabama's was 59th. Now,
why don't they add Citadel?
Well, they took out Oklahoma's because the numbers would be, they considered them to be inflated with Citadels.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So they took it out, but here's the deal. Kyler Murray threw for 42 more times, or completed 42 more passes, for basically 50 more yards, or with 50 more attempts, excuse me. And Tua's passing yards were 33-53, and Kyler Murray's with 40-53. Okay. Everything else is pretty much completion percentage, 67-71, Kyler. Yards per attempt, 11.41, 11.92 for Kyler. Interceptions, 4 and 7 for Tua. TD to interception rate, 9.25, 5.7 run to Tua. QB rating, 202, 205. Kyler. Rushes, 48 for Tua, 123 for Kyler Murray. Rushing yards, 190. 892 for Kyler. Yards per rush, 4. Yards per rush, 7.3 for Kyler. 11 rushing TDs to 5 TDs. Total yards, 35-43 for Tua, 49-51. Total touchdowns, 42 to 51. You look at a lot of these they're just dead on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the difference is Oklahoma's last 2 games, Rob, were the highest rated games of the season. Texas and West Virginia on their given stations.
Mm-hmm.
People turned in and watched, and I think some of those people were voters. Even like Caleb said, I think some people turned them in beforehand, but I don't think everybody did because they wanted to see, let's see Tua against Georgia.
Right.
Tough defense. Let's see him and let's see Kyler go back up against Texas, see if he can repeat what he did against Texas. Tua was terrible.
Right.
He was flat out terrible against Georgia. And everybody in the world saw it. He got hurt. Kyler Murray had no game, none whatsoever, even close to that bad this year.
No.
These 2 games were played on the same day. Kyler shined in the Sooner win, and Tua struggled, looked bad, got hurt, and got pulled.
Alabama's lucky that Tua got hurt.
Yeah.
If he didn't get hurt, Georgia wins that football game.
Georgia had him figured out.
Yep.
So, although I think some people, okay, if you're out, if anybody, and I know no Sooner fan is doing that, but if you're not a Sooner fan and you went, hey, I'm going to listen to the Sooner fan podcast and see what these yahoos are about, if you think that Tua Tagovailoa, whatever his name is, played way harder competition, you're an idiot. The competition level was not that bad.
Citadel.
Hashtag Arkansas State. Okay.
Arkansas. Yeah, there's no chance that you convince me they play a tougher schedule.
Right. Kyler Murray has been almost flawless in all 12 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if he's not, we lose.
Yeah, we lose. And it just goes to prove, like Caleb said, wish he was here, Caleb. But Caleb said the other night, it proved our point was Kyler is important to this team and makes his team win. And that's a leader. Okay. That's a Heisman Trophy person.
And without him,
you and me could go.
We're on the struggle bus.
You and me could get on the Alabama team and almost do the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
You put Kyler in that offense, in Alabama's offense. Kyler will put up the same amount of numbers. Easily. Tua is not the type of athlete that Kyler is. You put him in Oklahoma, we'd be really good.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would be – we would be as good, but our quarterback play wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I think just for that very reason alone, it's Kyler's. It really is. And if Kyler doesn't win it, then they really missed it this year.
They missed it. It's that simple, rolling down. If he would have shined, if Tua would have shined against Georgia, I would be sitting here going, hey, it's down to the dead heat. Look at what both these guys did all season. But it's just like what Georgia did against Alabama. Okay, you're down to the last game. You can't complain if you don't win, that you don't get into the playoffs.
You got to win.
Tua, you're on the spotlight. Championship weekend is what it's called. You were the marquee game of the day at 3:00 in the afternoon. Everybody in the country just watched Kyler Murray light up Texas. They turn the channel and go, okay, let's see Tua. And you stunk it up for the first half.
Sure did.
And then you got hurt in the third quarter.
late in the third.
Yeah, and you're done. I mean, you got 2 more years. He'll win it next year,
likely.
And that's where I'm starting to lean towards Kyler. Is that's how a lot of these voters are going to go. Hey, he's going to win it next year, and maybe the year after that. You know, Kyler. Yeah, this is his secondary sport, and he's the best player in it, which is crazy to say.
He is the best player.
He is the best player.
I mean, he just is.
Yeah. And
so you know what? I thought his height was really going to be a problem.
Nope.
I really did. You know, and I think before we, started the season, you and I started podcasting, and I said, yeah, I think it's going to be a problem. You know, he's only 5'9".
Yeah.
I know they say he's 5'10", but he's not.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother him a bit.
Yeah.
Like, he makes all the throws, he makes all the reads. You know, he pulls it down when he's got to. He throws it away when he has to.
Yeah. And the dude is amazing fast.
Oh my god!
Stupid. And when you see the guys that have called the games and it's their first time of seeing him, and the Fox guy against Kansas that said, "I've seen them all. I've seen two. I've seen every. This is the but you don't." And folks watching on TV, and unless you see it live at the game, really too, and watch the acceleration. And how he leaves everybody behind, and you can even see it on TV too. Oh, but it's more amazing in person. When he turns that corner and you just see that extra gear just go nuts.
Or the the juke that he puts on when he's 5 yards away, it breaks them ankles and he's around them and gone
before they hit the ground.
So I hope that happens so many times at Alabama. I can't even tell you.
Yeah. So Oklahoma should be a shoe-in for 2 awards, in our opinion. The Heisman Trophy and the Joe Moore Award. Joe Moore Award is not announced. They show up and surprise the team.
Oh, is that right?
On campus. So if we see a giant offensive line statue on the back of a flatbed truck.
Well, there's a good chance I will see it. I keep those blinds in my office open so I can see everybody driving them down that road.
For just such occasions. But, we'll know Saturday night. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm going to try to be like Rob. I really am, Rob.
What, good looking or
no? I'm already that.
Okay.
I've already surpassed you. Okay, I'm going to try to put the Heisman jinx behind me, and not believe in the unicorns, as you say. But I still want to throw this out there. I want to have a small discussion before we move on. 2000. Okay, it's just weird that our Heisman wins. Okay, or close Heismans have come in national championship years. Okay, Josh Heupel loses. We're playing in the national championship game that year. He loses it. We win the national championship. Jason White, the year he wins it, we're playing in a national championship game. We lose to LSU 21-14. 2008, Sam Bradford wins it. Just so happens that year we're playing Florida.
Get destroyed.
No, 24-14. It wasn't no
that bad, yeah.
But we lose the national championship game. 2017, Baker Mayfield wins it. We get into the playoffs. We lose in the first round to Georgia overtime, 54-48. I'm going to have to be optimistic. I'm going to have to change my attitude towards it.
Because we are winning the Heisman.
Kyler's winning the Heisman.
Right. I say we, I mean Kyler.
But something you and I did helped him. I mean, somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my lucky shirt or something. I don't know.
So I'm going to try to put the Heisman jinx. I still want Natty's, not Heisman's. I know it's great for recruiting guys and everything else, but I'm.
It's great for the school. And there's a lot of good for the Heisman. But yeah, I agree. Natty over the Heisman.
Yeah.
But you know what? Heisman Park's getting ready to
get full.
Get full out there. They're gonna have to get busy getting Baker's up because Kyler's going to be right behind him.
Yeah, Baker's. I think they're saying it'll be a deal for the spring game again. Apparently, is what I've heard. And then the year after, they're going to have to put another one out there. They're going to have to buy another lot for Heisman Park. They're going to have to.
Well, they got plenty of room. They can adjust. But that not to change gears or subjects or anything, but I understand that the spring game is going to be pushed back a little bit this year
for weather-wise.
Weather, I think, is probably a big factor in that.
Good, because that was miserable last year.
Yeah.
But that's another thing I was thinking about too. I want to bring this up real quick. We got Heisman Park, where we have the giant Heisman statues.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Owen Field. Okay. Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. But everybody, you need to remember that the field is named Owen Field.
Right.
Okay. After Benny Owens. Right?
Right.
Okay. Then we got the Switzer Center. Then we have, it was the Bud Wilkinson Dorm. They've changed it now. It's like it's Wilkinson something. It's still there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be there much longer, but it's still there.
Are they going to name the big dorm after him? Or
honestly, I don't know what they're putting up there. Or, they haven't even started, taking that one down.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody lives in there. It's hard to say, but I don't think anybody's living in it.
Yeah. Well, they're going to there'll be something, Switzer Center, whatever's going there, I'm sure will be the Wilkinson, something for athletics,
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to name after Bob? Bob Stoops Heisman Park.
Well, they better get to doing something.
Yeah, so
they'll do something.
Yeah. But another real quick subject before we get on to the Orange Bowl is Lincoln Riley has already been talk that he's a favorite for the Green Bay Packers
mm-hmm.
and for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear Lincoln on the Dan Patrick show?
No.
Dan Patrick asked him, are you at least obligated to your family to listen to offers from the pros? And he said no. And I'm not word for everybody out there. You probably heard it. I'm not going to try to. It was basically, I've got one of the best jobs in the world.
Yeah.
At one of the most storied football programs at any level.
And don't you imagine he's going to get a great big raise?
Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Okay. He's not making very much money as opposed to coaches. Okay.
You need to put that in perspective, Terry. Because according to me,
he's rich. He's really, really rich.
Change.
But, even pro coaches and college coaches, I mean, Tom Herman's making more than him. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. They're going to have to give him more money, and they're going to give him more money. He is going to get a hunk of. He's going to
get whatever he wants.
Yeah.
If he says I want to be in the top 5,
he'll be in the top 5. And but to me, I've said it before, I don't think it's just money with him. I think it's the love of doing what he's doing. That dude has been out. He's not posting all these recruits that he has gone to see this week are posting. That man has been to everybody's house this week. He must have saved all of his.
You want to build a dynasty?
Yeah, all of his official visits to go. I just won the Big 12 championship game for the 4th time, and I'm coming to see you.
Yeah. Do you think he wore all 4 rings? You think he's walking in there blinged out like, what up? I mean.
I would.
Yeah. I wear them all, every single one of them.
But, since he's been there, Oklahoma, he's never lost a Big 12 championship.
Can you imagine what that looks like? Yeah. Looks like a pair of brass knuckles. You know what I mean? If you're wearing them all in one hand.
Yeah. But
actually, it'd be bigger than that because those rings are huge.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm talking about though. With him, it's on Sunday, all the guys were sitting in their facilities, talking about what a great honor it is, and Dabo Swinney talking about ordering pizza and going to Jerry's World.
Listen, when I'm sitting in my facilities, nobody better be around.
Not those facilities, Rob.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
But when you're, and Lincoln Riley, when he finds out that we made the playoffs, he's in a jet airplane sitting out here on the runway.
He's on the tarmac?
He's on the tarmac, does a real quick video, and when does he talk to ESPN? When he lands somewhere down in Texas, I'm assuming, because of who started putting out pictures afterwards. He calls ESPN on the phone.
He shouldn't have. You should have dissed him.
And, he's out on the road the day after the Big 12 championship game. And then from what it looks like, he's been out there all week.
Him and Kale,
and they're visiting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marcus Hicks up in Wichita, his dad, we've got to been, talking to off and on. He's been up there. He was down in Texas. He's been everywhere.
Once again, I don't want to change the subject, but did you see the video of Trajan? I think his name is Trajan Bridges or something like that. Did you see it at all? So I don't know. I don't even know what I was looking at. But he comes across, and I guess they're doing a 7-on-7 drill, and he catches a touchdown. And the guy that's trying to guard him falls. He just drops the ball onto his back. and he walks by the goalpost, and he's got a phone there. And he pulls the phone out, and the D-back gets up and starts walking off. And he walks up beside him and does a selfie with him. And the guy slaps the phone out of his hand. Oh, man, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Did he get a flag on that?
Well, it wasn't like a...
Oh, it was a 7-on-7 drill. 7-on-7. Gotcha.
It was hilarious. You got to go look it up on Twitters.
On Twitters.
Whatever it was on, I'm not sure, but it was good.
But that's what I mean. I mean, I think Lincoln loves this job and loves working with these kids.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, when we've said this from day one, is he wasn't, given the keys to an old beat up, junker.
Yeah.
He's sitting in a high powered, offense and defense that's got room to improve, but you don't just walk away when you got them arguably one of the top recruiting classes coming in with a team that's already built.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And at a school that's storied like Oklahoma. Yeah. And like I said, and I like what Lincoln said to Dan, one of the most respected and successful football programs at any level.
Yeah.
College, pro, it's why. And my deal too is his mentors, Bob. I don't think Bob had any desire, never had any desire to go pro.
Still don't.
Because his mentor, Spurrier, went pro and sucked at it and came back. And you don't think that people look at that. Look at how many people have been successful from college to pro.
Yeah.
Okay, really and truly.
Let's see, Erickson comes to mind.
Yeah. Bud Wilkinson wasn't.
No.
Arguably in his time, one of the best football minds in the world.
Yeah.
You look at, Jimmy Johnson was.
Yeah.
Barry
inherited,
but I mean, John Madden said the same thing. Hey, regardless of what you think, he still had to do it.
Still had to do it.
So
no, I ain't taking nothing away from the king.
Yeah, but I mean, but he didn't sustain any.
But he inherited the team,
right?
The championship caliber team, just like Lincoln did,
right? Pete Carroll, although Pete was in the pros and sucked at it, went to USC and cheated. And
cheaters.
And got good. Left him when he was going to get handed a bag of rocks. And has done a good job in Seattle. But Nick Saban, failure. Okay. Steve Spurrier, failure.
Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly, massive failure.
Yep.
He bounced to two organizations that said, hey, we believe in you, and just flopped.
Why? I think those were good coaches, Terry. I just think that, they got into a team that wasn't great, and they didn't have the teams didn't have the patience to ride with them until they could get their systems in place, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I agree, but my other thing on that too is I think it's different dealing with millionaires than it is dealing with 4-star, 5-star athletes.
I agree.
You know,
you betcha.
And yeah, I know. I went to a Steelers practice. They get their butts chewed. You know, I've seen it. You know, somebody chewing on. You see it on the sidelines on games, but there's a difference in, you know, chewing out and you know, making, you know, or getting a 18, 19, 20-year-old athlete to do what you're asking him and telling him to be successful than a 24, 25, 26-year-old millionaire who has been, you know, in the college and now he's in the pros. He's been there a couple of years. It's just a different animal, and I just don't think that's where Lincoln wants to be.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go mess with that mess either.
But you know what I mean? I mean, we've seen him at the coaches show. He's not arrogant. You know, you and I have never gone up and talked to him, but he has never been rude to anybody that came up to him after the show when he's trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's guys up there pushing people out of the way. You know, I jokingly say that, guys. They're not pushing people, but they're basically kind of being blockers for them. But if somebody walks up to him after it, you know, with something to sign, he signs it. He takes pictures, and he slowly works his way out. He's very pleasant. He's funny.
Absolutely.
And I really think he relates to these kids, and this is where what he likes doing. And what is your dream job? Is your dream job what you're doing right now?
No, I want to be head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners.
But imagine doing the one thing you love.
Yeah.
And being paid really good for it.
Really good.
And, you know, somebody else comes to you and say, how will give you twice as much money to come and do what you're doing where you always wanted to do it and what you're doing? Would you do it?
Yeah.
For liar.
Hey, this just in.
What's that?
Maryland is hiring Alabama offensive coordinator Mike Locksley as its next head football coach.
Oh.
So
did they beat Texas? Do they play Texas again this year? Because that's an L for Texas.
Well, I mean that's just a little bit of turmoil for the Alabama
crew, and you know, word has it, Oklahoma's got their.
I said on the defense. Wouldn't that be awesome if we got him before the game?
Well, see, and that's what I was wondering, you know, and thinking about is, you know, you can hire somebody now. The season's over. Is there anything wrong with hiring Alabama's co-defensive coordinator and telling him you got to start now?
Listen,
is that ethical?
We need you here right now. You know, I don't know.
We're going to give you a $5 million signing bonus.
Probably not very ethical because, you know, he's going to have all the knowledge of that, you know, that defensive set or whatever. But that's not what the information we need. we need the other one. But interesting.
Well, let's we you know, this is Heisman week and everything, so we'll jump more into Alabama. Let's just run through Alabama's schedule, okay? I got their schedule right here
from day one.
From day one, and okay. Let's say, does Oklahoma beat this team? Okay, let's play. Does Oklahoma beat Alabama?
Does Oklahoma beat Alabama?
Or who? Alabama's schedule.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. So is this for me then?
Game one. Alabama versus Louisville.
Yes.
Alabama wins 51-14.
We probably win 61-30.
No, wait a second. At the beginning of the year, you know, we're talking about game one.
Yeah.
But 61 so we beat Louisville.
Yep.
Arkansas State. Alabama beats them 57-7.
Yeah.
About the same.
Probably.
Ole Miss. Alabama beats 62-7.
So I thought Ole Miss was better than that, but apparently they are not.
No.
So
they have the number 9th. This is kind of scary. Okay, they have the 9th ranked offense and the 121st ranked defense. Huh? Sound familiar?
Sounds familiar. Oh boy.
But Ole Miss only averaged 7.12 yards per play on offense. And Oklahoma averaged 8.92. Ole Miss had 45 TDs. Oklahoma had 77.
Oh,
so they were a highly productive offense, but not a high scoring offense.
Okay. So yeah, we beat them. I don't know that we beat them that bad, but we beat them.
I bet you it's 65-20, something like that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M. It's the next game. Bama wins 45-23. I say about the same.
Yeah, I think
A&M's about a Texas caliber team, don't you think?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, Louisiana, not LSU, Louisiana.
Oh boy.
56-14. It's
no wonder Tua had never played in the fourth quarter. I mean, when you don't play anybody, you know what? Their schedule only gets worse from there.
Louisiana had the 30th ranked offense and the 95th ranked defense. So, Oklahoma wins that game by the same.
Yeah, easily.
Mighty Arkansas.
Yeah.
65-31. Arkansas has the 117th ranked offense.
They are horrible. They are so bad.
Here's the thing, Rob. The 117th ranked offense put 31 points on them. People want to talk about Kansas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how they did it?
No.
Through the air.
Through the air. That may be a problem for them then.
Arkansas, folks, put up 31 points on Alabama.
Listen, they got beat by a D2 school this year.
I thought you were going to say a 6A school.
It might have
been. Missouri, 39-10. I think Oklahoma probably about the same type of score. Probably in the 40s. But, Missouri is a Texas-style team.
Yeah, we'd beat them up pretty bad.
Yeah. Tennessee, 58-21.
Who was pretty awful this year.
Yeah, pretty awful. Probably the same score, if not worse.
Yeah, we'd have beat them. Yeah.
LSU, 29-0. Okay.
It would have been worse than that.
It would have been worse than that. They probably would have scored a little bit on us, but okay.
We'd have exposed that defense.
LSU had the 76th ranked offense. 76th ranked offense. And why is it such a big deal that LSU beat them? And why is it such a big deal that Alabama beat LSU? And why is it such a big deal that LSU beat Georgia? Because LSU is terrible. They're
offensively,
average.
They are terrible.
They're average.
The defense is decent,
but
it's not gonna. We would have put up points on them at will. I think.
Yep. Mississippi State, 24-0. The 66th ranked offense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They would have scored on us.
Yeah, they would have scored, but it would have been the same. It'd have been the same with LSU. It'd have been 55-21, something like that. Yeah. The Citadel, 50-17.
They struggled.
Yeah, they're an FCS team. Auburn, 52-21. Worse than that, if not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, 35 to 28. We beat Georgia too. It would be a close game, just like this one, just like last year was.
Yeah.
So
could go either way on that Georgia game,
right? Either way. So Oklahoma playing Alabama's schedule has the same results.
Yeah, and honestly, Terry, if you looked at our schedule and put Alabama through that,
it's the same thing.
It's the same. They beat everybody.
They beat everybody, and the biggest obstacle, the biggest thing that stands out with everybody is Oklahoma's 109th ranked defense,
of course,
and our number 1 ranked offense going against Alabama's 4th ranked offense, and their 9th ranked defense.
On paper, they should beat us.
On paper.
Yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, Ole Miss, they're SEC school, right?
Yep.
They play defense in the SEC, don't they?
Oh, some of them do.
121th ranked defense. Texas A&M, 36th ranked defense. I'd love to have a 36th ranked defense with this team.
Oh yeah. Well, see, the whole SEC, the whole of the SEC conference is benefiting from Alabama.
Yeah. Arkansas, the 76th ranked defense. Missouri, the 53rd ranked defense. Tennessee, the 50th ranked defense. LSU, the 29th ranked defense. Mississippi State, the 3rd ranked defense, and Georgia, the 13th ranked defense. Auburn, the 45th. So most of them are in the top third. They're not the top ranked defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But Oklahoma lights up those teams just like,
oh, I think so,
if not worse.
Well, we hope so, because if not, Alabama's gonna have their way with us.
Yeah. And it's not going. The only way it is a 14 point game or more is if our defense cannot stop them, and I don't think that's the case. Okay, there's some stops in this defense, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks, and depending on what happens, they played a lot better against Texas. 27 points. It's the first time in 4 games they held anybody under 40 points for crying out loud. They're not going to hold Alabama under 40 points.
Nope.
But if Oklahoma's defense has got to be opportunistic like they have the last 2 games.
Definitely.
Against Army.
Got to get turnovers.
Oklahoma State.
Got to get some stops at some point.
When they matter. Doesn't matter if we don't get a stop until the last series. Get a freaking stop.
That's as long as we're scoring.
Right.
If their defense shuts us down and they stop us 2 or 3 times in the first, 2 or 3 times, then it could be a long day for us.
Yeah, if we come out and have a third quarter like we did against Georgia, it's downhill.
Yeah.
And fast.
Yeah, because Alabama is solid.
Right.
They're good all the way around the clock. They got NFL talent all over the field.
But I think Lincoln Riley has learned from last year, and that in championship level football, that you don't take your foot off the gas. You don't come out of the locker room with an attitude. And I wouldn't have believed that until I saw Baker say it. When Baker did his interview with what's the idiot? Or one of his interviews, I can't remember which one it was, where he said, they asked him what happened. He said,
"Turd."
Yeah, cow turd. Is that we came out of the halftime complacent and comfortable, and not complacent, comfortable, and instead of coming out to kill. Basically, it's not word for word, but that was the gist of it, is that we came out with a comfortable lead and we're going to maintain. We just need to maintain, keep doing what you're doing. No, you don't maintain. You go out there and you stab them in the heart.
Yeah, and I think he's learned that lesson. The only time you could ever even consider doing that is if you have a defense that you're just completely confident in.
Yeah.
And we don't.
No.
So you can't do that. Never. And I don't advise it even if you had a defense that you were completely confident in.
Yeah, Barry Switzer didn't believe in it. He had the best defenses. We're going to put 100 on you in the first half, and our second string is going to come in and put a 200 on you.
Well, and there's a reason they call him the king.
Yeah.
So,
and it was that mentality of we're going to bury you as fast as we can, and then we're not going to let you up.
And then we're just going to stymie your offense the whole game.
Yeah, and then the tough teams that he played, he had the same mentality in it. That 3-year span, they only lost to one team, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
One team, and it wasn't by very much. It wasn't like Miami went out there and destroyed Oklahoma.
And that whole Miami team went and played for the Dallas Cowboys.
This is true.
A bunch of them did anyway.
And you got a running back from Florida State. They all come from the state of Florida.
Yep.
But no, Oklahoma. Sometimes when you look at it, you go, "Wow, how are we defensively going to do it?" They've done it the last couple of weeks. They did it earlier in there, and it wasn't pretty. None of it was pretty.
Well,
the Army game, you want to throw that out, but if you can. But when they had to, they got the stops.
Well, we don't necessarily need pretty.
No, we don't.
We just need a couple of opportunities.
Right.
So.
And that's where it's going to lay. Is you put our schedule to Alabama, Alabama has the same results. You put our schedule, you put us on Alabama's schedule, we have the same results.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is either undefeated or one loss with Bama's schedule, and vice versa with Bama. Bama play our schedule, they could have one loss.
Yeah.
They
could. You never know. A team like West Virginia,
yeah,
if you don't just handle them, they could put it on you.
Yeah. Iowa State.
There's another one. Texas.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah. But so that, and what I like, and I said it the other day, what I really love is what I heard Herb Street say the other day on ESPN, and I've heard other people, this is going to be a Big 12 scoring game. Okay.
You think?
That's what it's going to be a scoring.
Is that the only way we win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and that's what Herb Street's point was, is you're putting Oklahoma in a game and you're saying it's a Big 12 game, they can win it. They can outscore Alabama.
Yeah.
They may not get a stop all day long. Neither may Alabama, but if Oklahoma has the ball last, guess what? You can beat Alabama. So, if we can't stop them, we got to score with them.
You know what? As long as we win, I don't care how we do it.
No. I don't
care if it's 7-0.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a fan out there. Yeah, we were all upset that Kansas put 40 on us. We were all upset that Oklahoma State, we had to sneak out of there, and we should have beat them by more. But there's not a one of us sitting in our cars or living rooms or anything else going to be unhappy with a 70-68 win in the Orange Bowl.
I'd take it. I'd take a 70-69 win all day long.
And then I'll be, ready to do it again the next week.
That's right.
At this point, I don't care how we win the games. I don't care, our offense is going to score. We just have to keep scoring.
I don't care if they go through that defense like butter all but one time, and we win the game.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. It just win now. Win by 1 point. It's all I care. Yep. Please make my life happy.
So we're pretty heavily underdogged in this game.
14 points.
It's going to grow. It's going to grow.
You think so?
Yeah, I think all the money's going to go on to Alabama.
I don't know. I haven't seen the over-under, or maybe it hasn't been set yet, but I don't know that it is. I mean, I think Oklahoma got some people's attention the last 2 weeks, getting a couple of stops. That's all it takes.
A couple of scoop and scores, and you're right there. Yeah. We needed both of them to beat West Virginia.
Again, with the way we were playing at the Cotton Bowl, and the week after that, and the week after that, none of us believed that our defense was going to score 16 points in the last two, games of the season.
Yeah.
They hadn't scored a point except for, actually, our defense scored 18 points. Duh, my math just went down, this season. A PAT,
right,
return, safety, and
man, that's safety. He hit 70, almost 18 miles an hour coming in there. Wow.
But I would feel much better and be more comfortable if we had a 30th ranked defense, but we don't. We have a 108th ranked defense and the number 4 team in the country. So offensive linemen, do your stuff, get ready, eat your Wheaties, your stacks of beef, and be ready. That's the only way we win it.
Small children.
Small children, whatever it takes. But anyway, that's the podcast for today. Our predictions. Kyler wins the Heisman this weekend. There will be a gigantic 6-foot tall, 800-pound offensive line statue called the Joe Moore Award at the University of Oklahoma sometime in December. And we just figured out that we could have beat everybody on Alabama schedule too. So here we go. Orange Bowl it is. Once again, guys, thanks for listening. We will have podcasts out unless otherwise specified. We will have them out on Mondays and Wednesdays through the holidays up to Christmas, and then we'll figure it out. But we may do them on different days, and we may have a few others. We're still working on some guests for the next few shows. So, but be looking for us. Every Monday, we'll always have one out on Mondays, and then we'll let you know on Mondays when the one in the week will drop. So, thanks for listening. Got anything, Bob?
We're good.
Boomer Rob.
Boomer Jerry.
Boomer Sooner, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Hit the subscribe button right now on whatever app you're listening to download every episode as they come out. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Boomer Sooner.